are back with another video, and this time we are finally completing the task, the request that many people asked for. So I'm going to be showing you how to build a ROM, any of your favorite ROM, from source. Alright, so we are compiling ROM from source. Now I didn't really want to make this video, and yes, you might ask me why. So basically there are people who build ROMs for the device that they don't even own, just to get their thanks meter in XDA filling up. Don't be such a whore. I mean, seriously. Now there are people who build 69 ROMs for 69 devices, if you know what I mean. Anyways, apart from that, let's get started. So right now I'm gonna be building signage and no. We are building the Candy ROM. As I've not updated it for a while, I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you. Why I'm not building CyanogenMod? Because all you need to do is in CyanogenMod is just sync the source and then find your device trees and then just start the build. You don't need to do anything. I'm choosing some of the some of the ROM source so that I can show you how to modify your device tree to get a compatible build with that source. So here's the manifest. You need to find the manifest. Just typing manifest will at times take you to the manifest itself. Now this is Candy ROM. So this is what you need, and this command actually downloads, in a simple word, downloads all the required source files to your server or to your PC or in your build machine, whatever you use. And I'm using a server at the moment, so we don't really have graphical user interface. Why? Well, this might be a good opportunity for you to actually learn the important commands. So yeah, right now I'm in my home directory, so I just have 3 ROM sources here. Alright, now I'm adding a new folder. That's the make dir command, and we'll name it as Candy. CD means change directory to Candy, and we are inside that. Now what you're gonna do is copy this link and paste it here. Then once you hit enter, it should set up the repo in that folder. And once that's done, hit this command repo sync at times force sync. That might be necessary if the source has a lot of rebasing stuff. And J tag is for job, depending on your PC's load, how much load it can take, or the processor's power. So I'm going to be giving 8 here, since this I'm using a legacy server and it's really powerful. So the sync should be done in a while, and we'll get back as soon as the sync is done. Alright, sync the source successfully. Typing ls shows the repos that have been synced, and so these are the repos. So I'm not gonna explain each and every repo in detail right now because you're just gonna build the ROM, so we'll just keep that as the priority. And down below, if you see the time and the date, you might see that a few minutes back it was some other day. So yes, there has been construction work going on in my house, due to which I'm not able to access my proper workspace, and I'm sorry if the audio quality is not up to the mark. Anyways, fire up the browser. Now what we need is the device tree, kernel tree, and the vendor blobs. So if your device is officially supported by CyanogenMod, then go to CyanogenMod GitHub, right? Because you will find all the device trees right here, but not the vendor. We choose a different GitHub for vendor. Right now I will be building for the Moto E Condor. So generally devices here don't get saved with their name which you actually know. So you need to type the code name right there. So we need the device tree, as you can see, device Motorola Condor. Get into it. Now what we need is, here are the branches. So CM13, right now I'm building for Marshmallow, so I'll be using the CM13 branch. Alright, so you don't need to make any changes here, just copy this whole URL and head towards the terminal and then type git clone space, paste the URL which you just copied, and then select the branch by the command -b for branch, and then like I said, we are using CM13.0 branch. Make sure that it's all perfect, else you might get error which will end up in failure of cloning. I explained before, cloning means downloading in simple words. So now you might be wondering, where do I download this file? Just like the root directory of the Candy-ROM source? No. So this is a quick tip. Generally the directory of every repo that you clone is this. Still don't get an idea? Well, just observe. So device Motorola /Condor. So exactly that is where you have to clone the repo. Typing enter clones it quickly. Now the same way we need to do for the kernel source as well. So we'll get the kernel source in CyanogenMod GitHub, no worries. Now you need to remember the chipset number. Everything has its own chipset number, like MSM8226 or MSM8610. That is what we are gonna use right now. MSM8610. Now you can see that there's another device tree. We'll also need that. But before that, let me sync the kernel tree, because this takes a little while. Every device. So same way, we are going to choose the CM13 branch as well. So make sure you choose the CM13 branch for every repo that you clone. And now again, branch CM13, and the directory is here, like I said. So kernel Motorola MSM8610. Now let this get cloned. Till then I'll let you know something. So the first thing is that, of course, you need to have a rooted device if you are into compiling ROM and stuffs. And for God's sake, please don't build the ROMs for devices that you don't own, because then you'll face the consequences. And that cloning was pretty fast enough. It didn't allow me to talk enough, and screw you. Anyways, let it get synced. Now another thing is that you need a rooted device, of course. If you are to release a build in XDA, make sure that you actually test your build before releasing it, because users are crybabies. They don't like the builds that have bugs. You know, it's difficult to make them understand. Their mind is like a baby. Yeah, clearly, like how the custom ROM stuffs work. All they need is a stable ROM. So just test it out. Anyways, we have synced the first device tree and then the kernel tree. Now few devices have common tree. Not every devices, just a few devices. So for those devices, we'll need this tree as well. So again, we clone this one, git clone again b, and then again the same directory. If there is hyphen, it means that there needs to be a hyphen there, but if there is underscore, it means slash when you enter it on the right side of the branch when you define it. Alright, so the branch is CM13.0 Motorola MSM. Am I doing it right? No. Oh yeah, so it should be device Motorola msm8610 hyphen common. Do not type Android as well. You don't need that. You just need this part. Alright, so this has been synced. Now we have the common tree, the device tree, the kernel tree. At last we need the vendor blobs. So we get the vendor blobs from the Muppets git. Now you need to know which device you are actually compiling for, because there are vendor blobs for the LG manufacturers, the ZTE, the Huawei, the OnePlus, the Nvidia, the Zoo, the Xiaomi, the Wingted. Oh my god. So right now I'm building for Motorola. So what we do is just type Motorola and search for it. Open it. Again, the cloning is same. Copy that. Git clone. Again, in this, just like here we had Android, here we have proprietary. If I pronounced it right, I'm not sure. And CM13 branch again. Vendor Motorola. So vendor Motorola, this vendor blob actually contains the blobs for almost all Motorola devices. Like you can see here, it's for Clark, the Condor. But when it builds the ROM, the device tree automatically defines it to use the Condor tree. It's obvious. Why would a Condor tree use the blobs of any other device? Blah. Alright, so now we don't really have any work with the browser. Yes. Now it's all up to modifying few stuffs and then getting it ready for building. Checking out files, last stage. Alright, it's done. So first thing, you don't need to modify the kernel tree, you don't need to modify the vendor blobs. Mostly you don't need to modify the common tree as well. All you need to do is modify the main device tree. This one. So it's Condor, not the MSM8610 common tree. ls again, it shows the files that's inside this repo, so we have all these files. Now you need to change cm.mk to, so mv is the command. Mv is also used for moving files, but it also used for renaming a file. Like cm.mk space, I'm gonna name it candy, since we are building the candy ROM, underscore Condor, the device name, .mk. So this is how it goes for every ROM. Now how did I know that I have to use candy here? Well, it's obvious that we are playing with the candy ROM source, but in another way you can find it by going to cd vendor ls. So yes, we have 3 repos inside vendor. One is the vendor blob, of course, just ignore that, and the other one is candy. So whatever name you have over here is the name which you need to give or define for your device makefile. It's kind of a tip or something like that. And another thing you need to note inside this candy repo, or whatever devices it is, we have all these repos. Now you need to get inside config. Okay, inside the config repo we have all these various files. You just make a note of them, and you need to note down this directory as well. You might ask why. Now we haven't finished modifying the device tree yet, remember, so we just renamed it. So yeah, you will find cm underscore Condor or whatever your device is. So we just rename it to the candy, and same way goes here. So this is where the directory thing comes into play. So here you will have something like this, and I modified it to candy, so you need to define it properly. Now most devices need boot animation. Oh god. Yeah, boot animation to be defined as well. But few devices have that in their device make file itself. So it's not that important, but just that you know, we add okay, 960 into target screen width. Just that you know I am doing this, might come into handy for other ROMs. So that was it. And anything else that the ROM requires, you can drop it down here, whatever the ROM owner instructs you. If you go for official pushup. Oh god, I really hate calling this device's code name. You must know why, Condor. Now you have something called the cm.dependencies, right? Get into it. Now the dependencies file actually tells you what extra stuff you need. So yes, we have cloned the commentary, so check on that. Okay, anyways, we've finished modifying the candy condor.mk. Next is vendor setup.sh. So we get into that file if your device tree has it. If it does not have that file, just ignore, it doesn't really matter. Same way, replace everything, like wherever you see cm, replace it with candy. And the final thing is android products.mk. android products.mk. And over here, remember that we named a file as candycontrol.mk, so that will be our main file. So android products is the make file that will ask the source to say that okay, now build the ROM for this device or build the ROM for some other device, whatever you define it. Now nano device.mk. This file has the stuff, extra add-on stuff that need to go into the device while building, so you can modify it if you want. Just do the things that you know is right, else do not even touch them. Same way here, we have all these bunch of files. You don't really need to touch any of the files over here if you have no clue about it. And again, get into cm dependencies here and check if something is required. So here it says we need device Qualcomm common and something called external Sony boring SSL compat. You might not know what this shit is. Anyways, so we have cloned the kernel tree. Now we need to check if we have both of these so that the device build goes clearly. Now for that, of course, we go to device Qualcomm and check if commentary is there. So it's there. If it's not there, go to CyanogenMod, search for Qualcomm common over there, just like that, you'll find it. Now let's say if we have the boring external boring SSL, oh wait, Sony, so we don't really have it. What we do, boring SSL compat. So there we have it. We gotta clone this again. In the root directory, same command, get clone, branch, ignore Android, external, Sony, boring SSL hyphen compat. Oops, I did a mistake. What did I do? This dumbass forgot to define the branch version.
and now it should be fine. Yes. So finally, to test if your device will compile or not, if it's ready for compilation or not, we use the command launch. But before that, you need to set up the build environment. So dot build slash env setup dot sh. My tongue is slipping so much. Alright, you get this information. You might not know what this is. Just hit launch and check if you get your device tree here. Yes, I have Candy Condor user debug. Basically, the launch combos are picked up from vendor setup.sh, so you might want to add that file in your device tree. If it does not exist, might be helpful. So the number is 8. I type 8, and like there, as you see, it says cannot locate makefile for product Candy Condor. This means that we have something wrong going on, and we gotta check that up. We go to device Condor. Okay, let's see, what did we miss? Android products Candy Condor.mk, everything seems fine. Candy Condor.
A few moments later.
Okay, at times if renaming it like this does not help, then simply rename it as, let me show you, Candy Condor to candy.mk. Nano candy.mk. Yeah, let that be Candy Condor. This has to be that way. I'm just renaming the makefile. So since we renamed the makefile as candy.mk, we do the same over here. Candy.mk. Now again, build env. We don't need to do this again and again, but launch 8. So yes, surprisingly that worked out, and if you get something like this, it means the device tree seems to have set up successfully and you are good to go for building the device. Another common command you can use for building the device is make bacon and then press enter. I'm not doing it now, why, I'll tell you soon. Or you can type in branch condor or falcon or onyx or whatever your device code name is, so it will start the build automatically. Now you might come across build errors and conflicts like that. You need to know how to solve them on your own, and I cannot be sitting and explaining you the conflicts, of course not, because the conflicts are always device specific. Now why didn't I start my build over here on the SSH terminal? Because I'm not supposed to. We have something called the Jenkins. If you have not heard about it before, it's just an automated building machine. So how do we start a build over here? You tap on new item. You don't need to watch this actually if you are not gonna use Jenkins. The video tutorial got over right here actually, pretty much. Just entering the commands, make bacon or brunch the device tree. So that was pretty much it about building ROMs from source. I've tried to cover as many topics as possible and as many topics as it rushed into my head. I'm sorry if I missed anything, and if you missed anything, do let me know in the comments below. I will be ready to help you out, but I shall never help you if you're building this ROMs for any other device except the device which you own. No, not at all. So anyways, Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like button below. It will help me in bringing more content because I'm pretty much jobless all the time at home, and I need something to pass my time on. Hit that subscribe button below, smack it, punch it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. See ya. but this is for those who want to use Jenkins. So Candy Condor, I'll leave that as the name. Sample job for all. This is a few things that has been predefined by the server that I am into. You can see that already it's being maintained by legacy servers, so they have a few rules and regulations, of course. So I don't need the old builds. I enable that, discard old builds. This project is parameterized. Device, yes, okay. Now usually excuse me, color and see color console output, yes, that gives the colorful output. Okay, execute shell, it's asking for something like script build.sh, so we need to make a script so that Jenkins can identify it before starting the build. Now I already have scripts in all of these repos, so I'll get into any of those. Okay, so here you can see script build.sh. Just gonna copy that and then get into Candy. Nanoscript build.sh and then copy the content. Now obviously we are not building for CM, so we name it as Candy. Now you see this tag over here, this is exactly what you saw right here. So whatever device you define it here, it gets defined over here and it starts the build depending on the device. Now since we are making a clean build, we have make clean and make clobber. If you want a dirty build, then replace this with make dirty and remove make clobber, or use make install clean, whatever it is. Save this file at least, and then we save this as well. Now if you have the Android file host account, you can send your builds through FTP. I'm not gonna do that right now anyways, I've got no time for that, and sorry if I'm taking much of your time because this is a lot of thing to cover. So we click on build with parameters, device, enter the device code name, it was Condor. We tap on build. Oh I got it, just a second. So yes, the problem is here. No, not here. God damn it. I guess here. Yeah. You need to define the directory. So you need to know in which directory I am. So it's home. The username, of course. Candy. And that is where the script build.sh is. So you're just defining the directory of where this file is present, wherever it is. Now you can peacefully start the build. I'm pretty sure there should not be any errors now, and yes, it has started. Tap on console output and watch it as the build goes on.